Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our Motivation and Mindset Monday, where for the past 5 years, we have been helping you and me to start our week off right. The goal here is to be able to increase inspiration enough so that we take that next step that we know that we need to in order to enhance and better our lives. So remember, life isn't about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday, last week, and last year. Sometimes we'll have better days and better weeks than others, but the goal is that over time, the sum of all of our actions, our thoughts, and our beliefs becomes better. And one of the ways that we can do that is to decrease our procrastination. We all do it. I do it. And what we want to do is first recognize, what are we procrastinating on? What is it the goal that we're not kind of going after as much as that we should? And then realize maybe why that is. But really, we can begin to trick the mind in order to help us overcome that procrastination. So there's two very specific ways. I think these are absolutely fantastic. They make a lot of sense. And when I learned them, I knew that I had to, of course, put them into action and then share them with you. So the very first one is that if you want to achieve any goal, there's essentially two ways to achieve it, right? There's adding more, there's taking things away. And just a couple weeks ago, if you didn't check this out, definitely check out the show on this, that oftentimes the way that you need to achieve your, let's say, wellness or weight loss goal is actually through a subtractive process. Now, this is very different for many people, and I didn't learn it till I went and studied actually in China. I shouldn't say China, actually in Sri Lanka, in India, at Ayurveda clinics. Because in Ayurveda, so much of it during Panchakarma is about what you remove from the body. It's blockages. So your body's literally being blocked right now from allowing you to lose the weight or begin to get well. So that's the toxicities that we talk about, right? One of two methods of getting well. And it can be the blockages. It can be how you increased your rain barrel or total toxic load. So we need to remove those blockages or remove those obstacles that stand in the way of achieving the life or getting the results that we want. So I talk about that from the subtractive property or subtractive process. That means something in your life has to go in order for you to achieve the result that you want. So let's give you some specific examples. Now, one example might be this. You love eating chocolate, but chocolate doesn't love you. And I've worked with a couple people in my practice where we needed to eliminate chocolate. Now, for some people, it's no big deal. But for others, chocolate to them is a food sensitivity. It increases histamines, it increases inflammation, and it imbalances their body. So maybe they're craving the magnesium from chocolate. Okay, we'll give them a little bit of magnesium, not the chocolate. Or maybe they're looking for energy. So we give them something for their energy, not the chocolate. Or maybe they're doing it to enhance mood. Okay, so we'll give them something to enhance the mood, but not the chocolate. So we can get different ways of giving them that end result, right? That's what we kind of call the habit loop, or breaking the habit loop. Is we know what they're looking for. We know the reward that they want. We just need to change the behavior and the methodology, right? And so we switch out the chocolate. Well, what I want to share you is this, is that, again, you can choose anything in your life. And whatever that goal is, there's going to at least be a couple things that are probably standing in your way that you're doing in a daily lifestyle or weekly lifestyle behavioral pattern that you need to eliminate. This is the subtractive process. So there's an additive. We'll get to that in a moment, but there's also subtractive. So one of the ways that you're able to beat procrastination and make it easier to do the things that you already know. So for example, you want to get well, you know that you need to follow the proven protocol. You want to lose weight, you know that you need to rebalance the hormones, the stress, the sleep, follow the proven protocol, right? You want to get ahead in your career, follow the proven protocol. So you're going to need to get a certification, go back to school, study under a mentor, like whatever it might be, right? Find the right person. Well, there's a protocol for that too, right? You need to go out, you need to meet that person where they're most likely to be at, right? And so you know a lot of the things that you need to do. You honestly do. You might not be the expert, but you can search out an expert and follow their recommendations. I mean, the age of information that we're in makes this very easy. I mean, it really does. And it's pretty efficient, right? You can even just read a book for $10 and you can figure out so much of what you need to do. You can hire a coach, you can hire a doctor, or hire an integrative health practitioner, whatever it might be. And you're going to be able to figure it out. Hire a relationship coach. Like, you're going to be able to figure it out. But, well, we need to be able to get there, right? And so the thing is, we need to decrease all of the friction, we call it, that is allowing us to, or enabling us not to achieve our goals. So let me give you some examples. I call it friction. So if you are looking to lose weight and get well, you absolutely must, unless you just have great willpower, you must get rid of the cookies and the crackers and the ice cream and a lot of the processed foods you have at home. It'll be good for the whole family, honestly. Have a night that you get to go out together and you get to get a dessert or whatever it might be. Make it more fun so that it's not every night, all the time for snacks, whenever you get hungry, whenever you get stressed, when you're sitting on the couch late at night and you grab for these things. If they're not in your house, you have to actually go out and get them then. So you need to make the decision, am I going to get in my car, go to the grocery food store, and buy the ice cream, the cookies, the snacks, whatever it might be? You can still do that, right? You can still do it, but now there's a lot more friction is what it's called. So if you want to get well and lose the weight and you find yourself snacking on these inflammatory-based foods, then get them out of the house, right? It's just, you in the future, you can keep them there. If someone else wants them, they have to have them, but make a little deal. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you tell the family, listen, we're not keeping these in the house until I get past that first hump. So that's what we need to do. That's just one example of basically increasing friction. So I apologize. You have to increase the friction of being able to do the things that you know that you shouldn't do. So you know you shouldn't eat these processed foods. So what do? You increase the friction in order to be able to get them. That means you need to get in the car now and head out to the grocery food store and actually pick them up. Another way to increase the friction of going out and getting maybe not the best quality lunch if you're at work or you're on the run, is that you make your own lunch that morning. Honestly, it can be as simple as getting a to-go container, throwing in some ready-made salad, right? Some organic ready-made salad, adding some sprouted beans or chickpeas or hummus or hemp hearts and some olive oil for a dressing. I mean, you're literally just taking some veggies. If you need a little bit of starch, great. Add some sweet potatoes that have already been cooked there. Add some hemp hearts, a little olive oil. You're good to go. I mean, you really are. So you can make your own healthy lunch. Super simple, easy. If you're used to getting a coffee and a muffin on the road, okay, here's what we do. We leave the house with a smoothie, and we also, we take that with us, basically. So we take it with us. So if you make your own lunch and you make your own smoothie ahead of time, here's why that increases friction. Now, if you go to the coffee shop, whatever it is, you already made your smoothie. What are you going to do? You can have 2 breakfasts? Well, hopefully not. And if you made your own lunch and you're tempted to go out to grab that pizza or that sandwich, that sub, whatever it might be, well, now you need to throw out the nice lunch that you already made, and you're not going to want to waste that money or waste that time that you already did. So you're increasing the friction because you've already done something now in order to enable you to make better choices. Another one of this is this. Let's say that your goal is to exercise on Monday and Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays. Wednesdays and the weekends are off days. Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, Friday are workout dates. Well, what you could do is you create a little jar. A lot of people do this for all sorts of different things, but that jar is basically a penalty jar. And every time you miss a workout, you need to put $10 in there. Now, people make all sorts of different crazy recommendations, suggestions, but basically that $10 jar could go to the fund of the presidential candidate that you don't like, or it could go to a cause that you don't want to see money going towards, or it doesn't have to be that intense. It could also be that $10 is going to, it goes to, I don't know, someone else that you want to give the money to. And it's not necessarily that bad, but you're also, it hurts enough that you want to not put that money in there. So it's just a little penalty jar. It's not my favorite way to go about things, but certainly it works for a lot of people. But you need to make sure that monetary value is actually high enough to get you to do the thing that day. So if you get home 5 o'clock at night, you haven't done your workout yet, and you see that little penalty jar in the corner, you say, well, do I really want to put $10, $20, or $100 in there if I miss today's workout? And you might say, well, $10 really doesn't matter that much to me. $20 kind of feels a little painful. $50, yeah, I don't want to put $50 in there. So $50 might be the number for you, but you have to follow through with it, right? So you have to have someone keeping you accountable. So these are all things basically increasing friction so you don't want to do the thing that you're not supposed to, or to get you to do the thing that you are, right? So really, we're increasing friction like that. We're increasing the penalty, the difficulty of doing the thing that we're not supposed to, right? So that's really what it's all about, is increasing the difficulty around the things that we know we shouldn't be doing, or to get us to do the things that we know that we should. So that's one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is this: decreasing the friction. So decreasing the friction means now we want to do more of something. So if we know we want to do more of something, but it's kind of an add-on to our life and we're all busy, right? We need to make that thing easier. So it's what we call now decreasing friction. We need to make it easier in order to do the thing. Less friction makes it easier. One great example that I like to give people is that when you get out of bed, if you know that you're not going to work out later in the day, but you know that you should work out in order to move your body for the health benefits, the weight loss benefits, metabolic, etc., well, you need to keep your workout clothes right there at the bottom of your bed or at a chair, blocking you from literally walking around it with your workout clothes right on it. So now you say, okay, I'm going to get out of bed, I'm going to put my workout clothes on, and in the next room or down in my basement, wherever it might be, all my workout equipment is already laid out with music, with all that ready to go, so that I've decreased the friction to make it really easy for me to work out. Now, again, you don't want to have to pull out all your workout equipment. You don't need to find your workout clothes. All of those things increase friction. If you want to make it easier to get your workout in, then you need to decrease that friction. So put out your workout clothes, everything from your sneakers to the socks, to the shorts, whatever it might be. And then have the workout stuff and your workout already printed, already ready to go. Make it so easy that if you say no to this, well, that's on you, right? Because there's no excuses. Workout equipment ready, you're ready to go. It's just time to get into that workout. So that you can just say to yourself, listen, I'm only going to do this for 10 to 20 minutes. No big deal. I'm going to make it happen. That is a great way to decrease friction in order to do the things that you know that you need to do to achieve the results that will allow you to get to your goal, right? Another example is this. You say to yourself, in order for me to advance my career or become a health coach or whatever it might be, right? So that moonlighting hobby that you want to be doing, whatever it is, block off some time in your schedule. Now, if you don't know how to do that or don't think it's possible, check out my podcast on how to find an extra 6 hours per day, managing life, not just time, all of those things. And I think you'll be able to find 30 minutes before the day starts, 30 minutes when the day ends, and now you have an hour to yourself. Okay, so what is that hour going to allow you to do? Well, in a given day, not that much, right? No big deal, 1 hour, okay. But an hour over 7 days a week or even 5 days a week is going to lead to what? 20 plus hours a month, 250 to 300 hours a year. And that adds up over time. So if you get in, 200 hours of exercise or 200 hours of reading, whatever it might be, your life is going to be dramatically different. So how do we do this? Well, we have to block out that time in the first place. The time doesn't magically appear. So if we're able to go to bed a little bit earlier, wake up a little bit earlier, watch a little less TV, whatever it might be, but you need to block it into your calendar, your schedule, like anything else of priority, anything else of value. If you'll do it for other things, but you won't do it for your goal, you're basically telling yourself that goal does not have a lot of value to you. And if your subconscious believes and your conscious mind believes that there's not a whole lot of value to you achieving this goal, how much credence, how much, mind space is it really going to give it? It's not going to use any willpower to achieve it if you just say, well, if it happens, it happens. Well, things typically just don't happen in life. We need to make them happen through our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, and then, of course, our actions. So take that action, set an alarm in your phone, block off that 30 minutes earlier in the day and 30 minutes at night. Don't have that much time? Start with 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. Have no time at night? Okay, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at lunch. Make the time, find the time. I'm telling you, we can all do it. And by opening up the calendar, what are you doing? Well, you're decreasing friction. That time is now open. You don't have anything scheduled except if you want to, working towards your goal. All right, one more example is this. I talked about this in the very beginning. You know that you can get well. You can lose the weight. No matter what you found in the past, no matter how many times you failed, you can get well. You can lose the weight. You can transform your body, transform your mind, transform your spirituality, transform your career, transform your relationships. There's just no doubt about it. Now, the issue is we just haven't used the protocol yet. We haven't found the right coach, the right mentor, whatever it might be. And that's okay. I mean, again, it took me 2 years of going to over 24 different doctors to find one who introduced me to functional medicine at-home lab testing. Now from there, I was basically off to the races. Did I get better right away? No, but they brought me along the path. And then eventually I read more books. And then, you know what? I met my mentor. And my mentor said, hey, you missed this, you missed this, you missed this. Doing great in the other things? These are the last 3 pieces of the puzzle. From there, I got well, right? I got well. So here's what I want to share with you. The same is going to happen for you. You just haven't figured out the right program, the right protocol. You haven't run the at-home lab test, whatever it might be. So here's what I want you to do. In order to decrease friction, buy the books, hire the coach, download the blueprint, whatever it might be. Get the thing that you believe is the next step. Maybe it's not your last step, but the next step in order for you to achieve your goal. If you want to get into real estate, sign up for a real estate agent's course. If you want to go back to school, well, look into those specific programs, sign up to take your exams to get into that school. If you want to be certified as a health coach and begin teaching health and wellness and weight loss and anti-aging protocols to other people, sign up for the certification. If you want to learn how to heal your thyroid or whatever it might be, take a course, read a book, do that next thing. If you want to run the at-home lab test, buy the at-home lab, right? Like, do the next thing that's going to allow you to get to the next step, right? So what you're doing right here is you're decreasing the friction to actually getting it done. So you know that your goal lies maybe 3 or 4 or 5 steps away. So if we know that and we can't get to that last step, which is our healing process in the relationship, the career, like getting to that goal, then do the next step. Do the thing that is going to flow then into the other. So for example, let's say that you have bloating, you have gas, you might have constipation, loose stool, heartburn, whatever it might be. Okay. So let's say that you run a candida metabolic vitamins test and a bacterial parasite test, okay? So you order those 2 tests, you take the test. Well, the next thing that comes with that is a consultation with the health coach. They're going to share with you why it is that you have those specific symptoms. Then they're going to share with you a plan to rebalance the body, which will then, when implemented, allow you to achieve your goal. So the next step in that process is, again, in this case, it would be getting the at-home lab test. Or if that doesn't work for you, getting the protocol. Or again, you can apply this to any industry. My industry is the health-based industry, so that's what I have the most familiarity with. But if you want to, again, create that career, let's say as a real estate agent, well, what you have to do is first at least get licensed as a real estate agent. So you take the course, you maybe talk with other real estate agents, you become licensed, you apply to different brokerage-based firms, you get hired, you mentor under a veteran-based real estate agent, you learn the ropes, and then you're off doing it on your own, right? But there's a process to this. So decrease that friction by simply not saying, oh, there's so much to do. No, there's a lot to do in life, right? There's a lot to do with achieving any goal that has meaning. If it was easy to do, it wouldn't have any meaning. The way that things have meaning is that you get accomplishment. You feel proud of doing them, of having done them, of having completed them. So yes, there's work with all of them, but that's also what makes it worthwhile, because we actually change as a person as we do the things that we know that we need to do that most people would never do in order to have the goal that most people will never get. And the way that we do that is we begin to change our conscious and subconscious thoughts. And we can make it that much easier if we just play these little games with our brain saying, I know there's a lot of steps. I know there's a lot to do. And it can be overwhelming. I get it. But what's the next step? Well, if I want to decrease friction, I'm going to at least have the book right in front of me. I'm going to at least block off my schedule. I'm going to make it happen, right? I'm just going to start to just move one foot in front of the other. Nothing major. Just going to start to read for an hour a day. Just going to work out for 20 minutes a day. Just going to make a lot of the right choices. And to make it harder for me to make the wrong choices, I'm going to keep the food that I shouldn't be eating out of the house. I'm going to stay off social media as much. I'm going to watch a little less news, a little less TV. I'm going to replace that time with more educational-based things. And yeah, I know I shouldn't be spending the money and going out to lunch all the time, so I'm going to make my own. I'm just going to pre-plan ahead of time in the week. Or in order for me to not make the wrong choices and do the things that I should do, maybe I'll set up a little something like a penalty-based jar. I don't want to be spending an extra $100 a week, $400 a month, so I'm going to make sure I do the things that I committed to doing. These are just examples, but I want you to understand that you can absolutely achieve any goal you set for yourself with the right plan, the right protocol. And then in order to make it even better, in order to cut down on that procrastination that we know what we can all do, increase the friction by doing things like keeping the food that you shouldn't have in the house at bay. So now you need to get in that car, right, to go get it. That's an example of increasing the friction. And then also at the same time, decrease friction in order to make your goals easier to achieve as well. Keep the healthy foods in the house, right? So that, I'm hungry, but all I have in the house right now is cut up celery and carrots. Well, if I'm really that hungry, I'm going to eat some carrots and some celery. Okay, now you're making those easier decisions and you keep those things, again, within arm's length. There's no sense in that book sitting on Amazon or whatever that website is if you know that you need it in front of you if you're replacing news and social media time with reading, right? So keep it in front of you on your desk. Let it be a reminder that that's what you're supposed to be doing. So again, hopefully these two tips are helpful. They're things that I share with private clients all the time. I want you to be aware of them. I want you to use them even more importantly. And of course, I would love to hear how they work for you. Always feel free to comment over at Instagram. Just my name, Stephen Cabral, over there on Instagram. Feel free to chime in at our free private Facebook group at cabralsupportgroup.com. And of course, feel free to comment on YouTube, any other place where the podcast exists. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. And of course, if this was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. Take care, everyone.